As the whole boxing world knows, His Excellency Turki Alashev is willing to pay for the mega showdown between Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis. But sadly, the fight will have to take place in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. But the good news is the fight will happen. But he does want to negotiate a deal with Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney. And while he heard of all of this, and he states in order for him to even consider to fight in Saudi Arabia, they will have to deliver at least 2 Ferraris or something like that, and will have to be delivered to his front door. Now the whole boxing world heard this and everything went viral. Also, Devin Haney and Bill Haney heard of Tank's statements, and they also have something to say about this. And that is what we are going to be talking about that next. But before we get into the show, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see it again. And ding the notification bell. That way you'll never miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding, ding. Alright guys, let's get started. As we all know, Turki Alashev is the huge fan of boxing, and all he wants to do is make the biggest fights in boxing happen. Now this is a plus because I'm not saying we will never see the biggest fights happen, but if it wasn't for him paying for the biggest fights to happen, we would have had to wait a very long time for them to happen. Because at the end of the day, yes, boxing is a sport, but it's also a business. And these promoters invest a lot of money in their fighters, and they need to get profit back. And one of the best ways to do that is to keep their fighter looking good, undefeated, and exciting, and carefully moving their careers so they will not take a loss or they won't look bad. So both the boxer and the promoter can keep getting big paydays even with any fight they give us. By giving their fighter lower level fighters to fight, they will make their fighters look good, so they can eventually build up their fighter to become a mega star, and then they can have really big money fights and fight fighters in the same level as them. So that's when they can actually look bad or take a loss. But by then, at least the promoters made the most money possible before they don't mind taking a loss, or either get exposed or just look bad in a fight. Believe me guys, it's not the boxers that are scared, it's the promoters are scared to lose their investment. If a fighter looks bad or takes a loss nowadays, a lot of the fans will say they're trash. So it doesn't matter what people say, every single promoter always protects their prospect. But lucky for us, His Excellency Turki is a huge boxing fan, and he is willing to pay for all the big fights to happen soon. So we do not have to wait for the build-up, we can get these fights right away. Also, I just found out that Turki Alashev has been having health problems, and he's been having it for the past few years. He says he does not want to waste time, and he only wants to see the best fight the best. He did not state what he said was wrong with him, but he did state that he does not have a lot of time, and he does not want to waste time. But I do know this, he has all the money in the world to get the best doctors, treatment, surgery, and everything like that. And by him stating that he does not have a lot of time, maybe he does have something serious. Maybe he has something that is incurable, doesn't have any treatment or no medicine for it yet. Or something so sensitive that you cannot perform surgery on it. Or maybe he has something so advanced that you cannot cure it anymore. But whatever it is, I hope God helps him and he gets better. No one should have to count down their days, guys. But that's neither here or there. His Excellency stated that he wants to bring Tank Davis and Devin Haney to Saudi Arabia for a mega showdown. Now this would be the biggest fight in boxing up to date. The only fight that can beat this will be Canelo versus Benavidez. But I think both fights are in the same level of interest. These are 4 of the most popular and best fighters now. Because you have the first face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, and Tank Davis being the second face of boxing. Now I know a lot of Tank fans and boy fans of Tank are gonna get mad, especially some content creators. but I'm just rating them by how popular they are, how many pay-per-views they sold so far, and how many champions they beat so far. Now in Tank's defense, Canelo has been fighting for way longer than Tank, so that's why Canelo has more pay-per-views sold than Tank. And Tank still has a lot of fights left in the tank to catch up or to even beat Canelo's record. Because when Canelo retires, I'm sure Tank Davis is still gonna be fighting for years. But I do know this, if Tank Davis keeps fighting lower level fighters, it is gonna be hard for him to reach another million pay-per-view buys. He needs to fight Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez. I'm sure every single one of those fights will reach 1 million pay-per-view buys. And that is just to tie with Canelo. But fights take a long time to make. And by then, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be another rising star that's gonna give him another million pay-per-view buys. But he definitely has the potential to become the next pay-per-view face of boxing. But the truly number one face of boxing is Canelo. Just like Mayweather said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Hey, being the number 2 face of boxing is a great accomplishment. Tank Davis does respond to His Excellency, and he said for him to even consider fighting in Saudi Arabia, they will have to deliver him 2 Ferraris or something. And this is just for Abdul to think about it. In my head, I was like, you just asked His Excellency for 2 Ferraris. You know he could afford that easily, right? His Excellency was probably like, wait, what kind of Rari? Like the song. And I was thinking of the JC song in the Ferrari Jaguar switching for a length. Money ain't a thing. Excellency said, you wanna floss with us? Dude, 2 Ferraris is nothing for His Excellency. Also, Devin Haney and Bill Haney heard this, and they said which color you want them, if that's what's gonna take to finally make this fight happen. If Devin Haney and Bill Haney have enough money to give you 2 Ferraris, what makes you think His Excellency does not have it? His Excellency gave $50 million to Anthony Joshua and $20 million to Francis Ngannou to face each other. That's $70 million. What makes you think he cannot afford 2 Ferraris? If you really did not want to make this fight, I would have asked something that money cannot buy, like a NASA space shuttle or a vacation home in Mercury or Venus. You should have told His Excellency, I want to retire in Venus. I want a huge vacation home there. Or I want to be able to breathe underwater or something like that. I was looking at how much Ferraris are worth, and 2023 start at $300,000. I seen a 2017 one for $170,000, which I believe look a lot better than the 2023. Even if you got the real expensive one, I believe they were like $700,000 or something like that. So 2 Ferraris wouldn't even be $2 million. And I'm sure you can afford any Ferrari you want, especially with the money you made with Ryan Garcia last time. But what do you guys think? Is Gervonta Tank Davis capping, or he really wants the 2 Ferraris to make the deal? If you guys like the show, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and that's it for me, champs. I gotta roll.